There's a lot to be said tonight here on After Dark with HB3. This is a very serious topic we're going to be working with tonight, folks. Viewer discretion is advised. I invite you to leave your comments below. If you're on the Facebook group, leave them there. YouTube, Twitter, however. Hopefully we can get them and we'll talk about this tonight. But this is a very serious subject that we're going to be talking about. It does contain mature content. So I'm advising everyone out there right now, every one of you, if you are bothered by mature content, please do not watch this episode of After Dark with HB3 coming up at the top of the hour. I am not a happy man. I am what you might call a pissed off man. I am what you might call disturbed, upset, confused, bewildered. I am all those things, but I am not a made man. We're going to talk about something extremely serious here tonight on this show. I'm going to give you my personal experience, and then we're going to dive into something and discuss an issue that's come to light thanks to Vice TV and Dark Side of the Ring. And you can make your own decisions, make your own judgment calls on what we're going to be discussing here tonight. But I want you to understand this. These are serious allegations. What we are going to talk about involves, I'll give you my opinion later. I'll give you my opinion on that later on tonight in the show. But what I want to do here off the top is I want to talk to everyone out there and tell you something about myself personally. And Nick Anthony knows this. He's known me for a long time, so he knows what I went through when I was a young child from the ages of 9 to 17. I was sexually abused by somebody close to my family. This was back in the 1980s, by the way, folks, the late 70s, the early 80s, and stuff like in that area, the 80s. I was a junior, or I was a teenage kid. So my teenage years were pretty marred by some sexual abuse that occurred and situations that occurred because of the era, such as informing someone that you trust, that you love, and that you respect, and you think is going to protect you from what's been going on in your life, and have them not believe you. And then find out secrets years later. I was a pawn in somebody's game. I was a kid. And I was abused in every way that a child could be abused, by people that I thought were supposed to take care of me, by people that I was supposed to trust because they were the church bus driver. So what we're going to talk about hits real personal with me. This is going to be an emotional train wreck at some point tonight. I know that. So I want to let everyone in on this. Man, everybody wish me luck. I hope we can make it through this. This is some serious stuff, and I have a lot of comments to make. I've worked hard on this video that you're going to see here with me. I've taken the main story, the one that I'm working on, and I've taken the excerpts of the video. We're going to use this under fair copyright law. I'm going to be stopping and talking and making points. And if you're here on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube and Twitter, wherever it is, if you're watching, then please, please, please go ahead and send your messages through so that we can see that you are out there tonight and you can get involved in this conversation. I'll try to respond to your comments tonight. Anyhow, let's get on with this. I was going to upload this video, but I want to sit here and watch this with you. So let's go ahead and roll this video.
Hours into the flight, the mid-air chaos shows no signs of slowing down.
There was another situation Ric Flair for me that was very uncomfortable.
Sometimes as a joke, Ric Flair would put on his robe, not wear anything.
Sometimes as a joke.
And walk that aisle like Ric Flair and then open it up and woo.
That's the big high spot. Everyone wanted to see Rick coming out naked in his robe, so he did it on the airplane.
It's a big high spot. This is the era in pro wrestling that we had. This was our attitude era, I do believe. Interesting stuff, isn't it? Jesus.
For everybody, and that's what the guys want to see. That's what makes them laugh.
He could move his hips and twirl it, and so his well-endowed penis
Trying to get the audio right for you guys.
spins around like a helicopter. So that's, hey, he's the nature boy for a reason. He's got a hammer on him.
Dude.
Go after the party.
What the hell?
If you know him, you know where to exit the party and go to your own safe place, or you don't know the rules and you find yourself in deep water. And that may have happened.
And I was in the galley. The galley is where our little kitchen area on an airplane. Ric Flair was naked in a cape only, and then he decided to come back to the galley to get a coat. And then he
All right. Ric Flair is naked, and he walks back into the galley with this woman who was a stewardess. I'm not going to give her name. The show does, and she's willing to, but I'm not going to say it live on there. I'm not going to put it out there like that. It's on the video. So he walks back into this galley naked. So that's going to scare a woman to start with. I mean, just it goes without saying that that's an offensive thing to do to somebody.
wouldn't leave the galley. He had me up back against the back door, and I couldn't move. I couldn't get away from him. I couldn't move. He was spinning around his penis, and he wanted me to touch it, and he took my hand and put it on him.
Ric Flair is not going to try to impose by force any sexual stuff onto anybody. He's just flaunting, styling and profile and doing like the Ric Flair stuff where everybody's going to laugh about it. But obviously someone took offense to it.
I remember him crowding the flight attendant, like in the aisle.
Somebody took offense to it. Somebody took offense to it.
Way back there by the bathroom where it's like real skinny and you can't fit two people through there and stuff. I remember him like crowding her and trying to make her touch him and stuff.
And he kept me back there for I don't know how long. It felt like a really long time. It wasn't short, like it was minutes. And I asked him to please stop, and he wouldn't.
I'm sorry, folks. That's inappropriate behavior for anybody, even a made man. Even a made man. Inappropriate behavior. And I understand why Impact has done to Tommy Dreamer what they did. And I think more should be coming from other organizations and more severe. We'll talk about that.
I don't remember somebody really helping me except one, I believe, Gold Dust, who had the mic. I do believe he told Ric Flair he should leave me alone eventually. He should leave me alone. And maybe that's why I didn't get as angry about the mic as maybe I should have,
So there's a story told about Dustin, during this thing. He had grabbed the mic and he was poorly singing a song. And it was he was having substance abuse issues in his life. And it was a time when him and Terry had divorced. Okay. You remember Terry, his wife, that would come to the ring with him with a cigar, right? You remember her? So yeah, she's on this thing too. But Dustin at the time had some issues in life, and he's worked himself through those now, and he's gotten on with his life. And Shockey out there says the stuff with Flair didn't surprise me. As Tony has made jokes for years on his podcast saying it was, here, let's just put it up there for y'all to read. Like it was a rite of passage for the boys to see what Tony has dubbed, and I quote, the baby's arm. That stuff didn't surprise me. Tommy Dreamer being a calm. Whatever that means. That was, oh, there's more. Wait, there's more. Being a complete asshole that shocked me. Thank you for those comments, Shockey. I appreciate that. Oh, anyhow, here we have Dustin, who is a voice of reason here. Now, evidently, Rob Van Dam's been on here, right? Tommy Dreamer's talking about stuff, so he must have been involved somehow. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. If anyone out there knows, let me know if Tommy Dreamer was on the flight from hell. A lot of it's insignificant stuff. The fight, the Brock, the ponytail. The ponytail was a serious deal. Of course, yeah, it was serious. You mess with another man's ponytail. But it wasn't as bad as what's happened here. Okay. Let's keep watching. Some interesting comments from JR coming up here.
I think he did try to help me, and he was the only one.
How does it that Ric Flair evaded any sort of suspension or anything like that?
Please note the face of one, JR. And I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing here, folks. This is something he's been dreading talking about and actually telling the truth about for a long time. I think he's trying to clear his soul and his conscience here about this situation because he dealt with it. He had to. It was his job. But he also did what Vince McMahon told him to do because it was his job. And guess what? That was the only game in town. That being said, the question was asked.
Good question. I guess.
Oh, I should have edited that out.
Man. And he was such a high-level made man that you got to pass.
Made man got to pass.
Was the right thing to do?
The made man.
You're listening to it, folks. You decide. You got to pass.
As the WWF deals with the fallout from the flight, Heidi is forced to consider her next steps.
I remember walking off the airplane on the tarmac, and we went to a hotel that was quite nearby. And
Okay. What you're going to hear is a victim's story. Her version of the events that occurred on said flight and what she lived through. This is important.
talking about how horrible, and the girls from the front saying they didn't know that it was that, that it was that bad. And then I just went to my hotel room and I took a shower and I cried. I called Sports Jet. They said that was unfortunate that had occurred on the airplane.
Remember that name. Listen to what they did.
They preferred that we kept it to ourselves, the story, because we work with professional athletes and things happen on airplanes. And they let us know it was expected that we would respect the privacy of our clients. So then you have to figure out how you tell your husband, how was your trip? Well, it wasn't excellent. What do you tell your husband? It can even create situations where they say, well, why did that happen to you? Or what did you do to make them do that to you? And I would say that might be the worst question you could ever ask somebody who's been hurt, because you already feel a sense of, what did I do? Did I smile? Was I too nice to him? And then you feel almost like you've done something wrong when I hadn't. But I know there was another girl on the flight that was very upset about things that had occurred to her.
You see what this is? Hold on.
And then she contacted me and said I should.
State of Arizona, Maricopa County. Case file 2004, year 05976, the number of the case for that year. Heidi Doyle, a married person, plaintiffs. We have named World Wrestling Entertainment, Richard Morgan Flair, Ric Flair, Nature Boy, and Jane Doe Flair, husband and wife, Scott Oliver Hall, Razor Ramon, the Diamond Stud, a.k.a. Big Scott Hall, Starship Coyote, a.k.a. the Big Bad Guy, and Jane Doe Hall. Okay. There's a lot of people being defending here on this here. This is an official court complaint. It's a demand for child jury. It's the suit is for negligence, negligent supervision, assault and battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and false imprisonment. All valid claims.
Do that as well.
If I filed a lawsuit for every time something like that happened to me, dear God, I would be in court
Terry Reynolds.
all my adult life.
Wow.
The sense of it was that the company wanted to address this matter, take it off our books, do the right thing by those that have complaints, and then move on.
There was an agreement that was reached, and they offered us a settlement. My husband just didn't want the story told to the public, maybe just to protect our daughter or himself. So he was very, very supportive of this. It's sad that money has to be that compensation. Like, I think definitely truth and honesty and change is more powerful, but money is what ends up on the table, I think. And then it also buys you silence, which then can add to another layer of the guilt of a victim.
Mhm.
Like it can be a cycle that's not good. Yeah, it's really bad.
If that's how she felt, maybe she should have not taken a payout and went to the fullest extent of the law to then truly put this heinous person in jail. My opinion.
People have their own opinions of what happened.
We all heard what he just said, right? We all heard what Tommy Dreamer just said, correct? And I don't care. Humanity, humility, compassion, and understanding. Have you none of these, sir?
What the damage was, though, no one should really have been dead when it didn't happen to them, but they do. They say, well, it wasn't that bad. You're okay, aren't you? And now you have to live with a pain or a memory of something that you didn't bring about. And it'll take some work.
Never meet your heroes. The people who have watched for generations and got them through their lives. I don't think that they all need to see Ric Flair doing a helicopter with his penis. Like I don't really think it's good for everybody to know this about their heroes. Some of these guys are freaks.
I feel this is trying to portray someone as this sexual predator, and it's not. It's a joke, it's a gag. And today, 1000% inappropriate. My hairstyle is inappropriate right now. I am somehow offending someone right now.
Well, he offended a lot of people.
2 ponytails, and my answer is I'm 50 years old. I'm happy to have hair. But if you're asking me, I've hung out with Ric Flair. I've never seen him try to force his will against anybody.
I don't feel that his intent was to rape them, but what he did was wrong. It was wrong, and he goes to sleep that night and thinks he made it back from his wrestling trip in Europe, and maybe he has a headache because he had too many cocktails on the airplane. And yet, that night I didn't go to sleep. My trip to work, my
So they went and did their thing. Well, this woman felt the shame. She felt the violation.
trip to get money to support my daughter becomes a memory that is mine forever to live with. Like I get to live with the fact that I had to see a naked man and get my face licked by a man that I was there to make sure he got from point A to point B. So
Yeah, that was a previous situation with Razor.
went to sleep and thought they made it home safe.
Scott Hall.
And so it goes on the world, I was
Once again, we break the rules here on After Dark.
Some stories get told and then people get ridiculed, or they're everything picked apart as what they did wrong when they're just telling the story. But if one person that listens to this says, oh my gosh, I might have acted like that towards somebody and I didn't even realize I did it. Or if one person hears that they had something happen to them that they didn't like and they didn't feel they could speak about it because they get in trouble, or they were made to feel that they created the situation and might have made it happen. Like, if it could change it for one person, I'd sit and have this conversation 25 times again. The truth can be scary, and the truth can be ugly and messy, but at the end of the day, the truth is the thing that makes us better.
The truth. The shame of it is that the truth took decades to be told. The truth is behind you on my wall. There are 3 horsemen up there, and that's what will be on my wall. I used to think Ric Flair was one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. And now I think he's a disgusting piece of filth. You put somebody in a situation and physically made them do something they did not want to do to your anatomy. Who the hell do you think you are? All my boyhood dreams, all the times I rooted for you, all those times are done. They're dead. They mean nothing because of you. The WWE isn't going to pay a settlement if there's no truth to the allegations. Let's get real about that. It was hush money, and they probably had a stip that the woman couldn't talk about it, couldn't mention it. The McMahon family is at fault. They deserve to be punished for this. They condoned inappropriate sexual conduct at the workplace. This company, SportsJet, probably not in business anymore, and if they are, they're liable. You should have done something. Who gives a damn that your clients are made men? They're humans. And if they do wrong, they deserve to be punished for the wrongs that they do. If we're going to scream about it for the police and for the politicians, then we got to scream about it for the athletes. And I'm talking professional wrestlers, football players, baseball players, hockey players, anybody that is put on that pedestal. Gladiators at war. They wouldn't survive the Colosseum. These gladiators at war. It's time they get checked, all of them. Ric Flair, what you did was inappropriate, and that's the last time your name comes out of my mouth, made man. What you did was completely and utterly inappropriate behavior for a human being. You can blame it on the booze, you can blame it on the drugs, but you gotta blame it on your inhibitions. You showed no respect for that woman. As for other people on this show, Tommy Dreamer. Yeah, good point. Very good point. Very good point, Shockey. RVD admitted to seeing women being H-bombed, which is where they dropped something in their drink and drugged them, so the boys could rape them. He says he doesn't use that word, but drugging someone with here it is. That's rape where I come from. And you're right, Shockey. That is rape. That is rape. This Tommy Dreamer, you came to the defense. If you know the truth, why are you defending? Why would you make a comment like that? You know why she probably took a settlement. You know the company paid her off. You know. And you're coming out in social media stating you didn't think your comments this, your comments that. Bullshit. Bullshit. Impact needs to terminate you and your career should be over right now. That's condoning an assault on a woman, no matter how you look at it. Terry, the former Terry Runnels. If you filed a lawsuit against somebody, anytime something like that happened to you, you would be in court all the time. Maybe you're used to things like that happening to you. Look at your gimmick in WWE. I have no idea what you were thinking when you said that. To totally discredit this woman's evidently factually based recollection of a physical sexual assault on her personal self. She has a right to feel violated. Anytime somebody forces themselves on you in a sexual manner, you have a right to feel violated if it is not something you want to happen to you. It is a simple thing. Simple thing. Right below me now. It's going to stay there for the rest of this night, by the way, folks. That is the number for the National Sexual Assault Hotline. They have a website. You can go there and check it out. It's 800-656-HOPE, or for those of you who are alphabetically challenged, 4673. You have a right to feel violated. And you too prove that being a shill for the corporate monarchy and making your money that way, well, that money buys a lot, doesn't it? It even buys your morals. Speaking of morals, Jim Ross, man, dude, Jim, I got to give you credit, man. I see what happened here. You have lived with this for a long time. I can tell. When he asked you the question, why wasn't Flair punished? Your face, sir, spoke volumes about what was, this was it. You were finally going to be talking about something that's been on your conscience for a long time, sir. I believe he told the truth, folks. He did what Vince told him to do. He couldn't fire Flair. Even though, as he put it, you be your own decision. You make your own decisions here on this one. I think JR's morals would have caused him to fire Ric Flair for that incident. As he said, the purpose was to shut her up, to buy her silence, and to be done with the matter, and to get over it all. Jim, Mr. Ross, you have earned your spot as the greatest announcer of all time. And I'm going to be honest with you, folks. This is the one person I think I can forgive in this entire situation. Because at the time, WWE was the only game in town. If you didn't work for them, you didn't work for anybody. And he had a lot of titles to bear, I guess. You know, head of talent relations. He was also lead commentator for Monday Night Raw during this era. He worked pay-per-view and stuff like that for the company. So he's a very integral part of this company. But the part that was probably for him satisfying was the ability to scout and do things, because this is his passion, is the scouting part and the talent end of it. This was what Jim Ross was good at. Okay. And he found some great talent. He got Vince what Vince wanted. And I think he was put through a whole hell of a lot of shit too during his career in WWE. We all know that. We all know the fake Razor, fake Diesel, all that shit. He had to do all that crap. Remember how they treated him? Dustin Rhodes. I already said it. He was the guy that's, got on that mic after having a breakdown because of a divorce from his wife. Understand this. There's reasons why his behavior was what it was. And he got repercussions because he spit tobacco juice in the back of a seat pocket. Got reprimanded for that. The mic incident, all that stuff. Things happened to Dustin. And, well, the made man walks away scot-free. Nothing at all. And that's how it is in sports. It really is. Like Rob Van Dam. He's telling you the story. If you were there, why didn't you do something? Simple. If you were there, why didn't you do something? What do we have? Never meet your heroes. Never meet your heroes, folks. Because when you do, you're going to find out that they have demons that you don't want to talk about. There are bodies piled high in their closets, buried under pounds of legal papers. They get away with this. But we as normal citizens, we would face charges because we don't have money. We don't have the notoriety. We don't have the fame. What do we have? Well, we have things like this happen in life. We have people being violated by athletes in different ways. Physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, and sexual abuse, of course. And this has happened in all sports, not just professional wrestling. I've talked about this before. I have spoken about this. This is the situation with Alberto Del Rio and Paige, that situation. We've had Jimmy Snuka was accused of taking the life of somebody before he passed on. So nothing, it's always going to be a mystery to everybody. We don't know what happened. This is an amazing revelation because you have a major corporation that is guilty of covering up a sexual assault. You have a key player on their team that they covered up their sexual misconduct. They also have talent that decides to just have a wild ass party at 30,000 feet and possibly kill everyone in the company. What the hell? And this is the McMahon family. This is the family that brought Vince. You're the guy responsible for the big wrestling boom, remember? Raw's been in the air for how many decades now? And this is how you kept it on the air? This is how you kept people from going to jail or facing the consequences of the justice system for things like sexual battery? What the hell are you thinking? And why are you thinking it, man? There's no excuse. There is none. Shockey says you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, the Dark Knight. A more appropriate quote you'll never find, and I agree. I agree. We know about Aaron Hernandez, what he's done. We know about OJ, what OJ did. We know about Bill Cosby and what he did. He got off because he made an agreement that he couldn't be prosecuted for telling the truth. Who? Why? That should not be able to stand in the law. No. You don't cut a deal with somebody like that just because they're famous and have money and power. You prosecute them under the law. You make them serve the same sentences that we do. Your everyday Joe. The men and women out here that are actually working and making the money in this country so that these people can get big paychecks off the money we spend to see them perform for us. And these companies make billions off of us, and yet they condone crimes like sexual assault and sexual battery. And quite possibly sexual assault. This bothers me. And this is on your shoulders, Vince, because the men under you followed your orders. It's your company that allowed this to happen. Shockey says, of course, remember the Jimmy Snuka story and how Vince apparently showed up with some sort of suitcase and the case was just dropped. He's been doing this shit for years. We're going to say it out loud, or we're going to say it very out loud here on this show. We are After Dark. I have spent decades of life living with what happened to me as a child. I have a hard time in relationships because the violation issues. I have been single for 20 some years because of these issues. So, and I probably will stay single for the rest of my days because of these issues, folks. So that even one incident like this can affect you for your entire life. Imagine what it's like for somebody to go through this for years and not be able to talk about it and deal with the pain and the self-blame and the feelings of worthlessness that you have as a human being. What did I do wrong? How did I cause this to happen to me? But you didn't do anything. You did absolutely nothing wrong. You're the victim. You're not the culprit in this crime. You're the victim. And that you survived and that you made it all this time says a lot. But I'm going to say this about her husband too. And if you agree with me, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. Sir, you should have stood by her side and let justice take its course and brought this dirty laundry to the public. You would have made your mark in professional wrestling history because Ric Flair's career would have ended then and there, as it should have. As it should have. your childhood heroes do things that affect you as an adult. How you see the world. How you judge things. You were the measuring stick. And now, you're nothing. You were my childhood hero. And you took that from me. And I applaud everybody that is involved with Vice TV's production for Dark Side of the Ring. I applaud everybody, everyone on that show who told the truth and was honest. I may have lost respect for some, but you spoke your mind and you said what was in your heart and you taught us who you truly were. Jim Ross, I hope you've cleared your conscience. You did what you were told to do, and I understand that, sir. And I can see that it wasn't something that you wanted to do, but you had to. So I forgive you for your part in this incident, because I think that you feel the same way I do. This was unexcusable behavior for anybody, especially for somebody that people looked up to and admired and respected. You destroyed your own legacy in 2004. And my God, how? Why? Why? For everyone out there, whoever thought that you were the greatest of all time, no. The greats don't do things like this. The greats leave their impression on this world in a positive way. I want to see if the woo chant dies out, because I think we may have heard our last woos in the arenas around the globe. I believe that everybody that was a part of this incident should be brought up on charges. To this day, I don't think there should ever be a statute of limitations on a sexual battery charge or any type of a sexual crime. You shouldn't be able to get away with it. I think that even though this woman signed this document with WWE, I believe that she should have the right under law to have Ric Flair prosecuted criminally for his actions against her. It is tantamount to rape. I am sorry to hear that people like Tommy Dreamer and Terry Runnels hold these viewpoints that they hold on this situation, this issue. It's a shame, because it shows your true character as a human being. I don't care about you being a pro wrestler, because to me, you're just another human being. You have a real name. We can find it by looking it up on Wikipedia. We can find out when you were born, where, you're about your career. But there's going to be a footnote. It's going to be added into your Wikipedia. And it's going to talk about your comments on this particular show. Sorry, folks. I've been tearing up a bit. But it's going to talk about a lot of things, folks. They're going to say their pieces in social media and try to convince you that they didn't mean any harm. Really. You spoke your true mind on that piece. And if you didn't, then you're a liar. No, I know you're professional wrestlers. And by nature, you're liars. It's what you do for a living. You make us believe what you are doing and saying is real, when it's not. That makes you a professional liar, like an actor is a professional liar. You're a character on a stage. They say heroes are never supposed to die. But tonight, I bury one of my heroes forever. Because I would be the most two-faced human being. And Nick Anthony will tell you this. I have a problem with Hulk Hogan because of what Hulk Hogan did. And I want to say that I don't know that I could ever forgive Hulk Hogan for what he did. I know it's a word, but it's a word that should never come out of anyone's mouth. And it's even more than that. Who the hell lets somebody video them when they're having sex with their wife? Who the hell does that? That's a kink I ain't never once desired. Ugh. Anyhow, so I have to be fair. I have to be fair. If I'm not going to condone what he did, how can I condone what the made man did? It was worse. It was way worse. You got WWE condoning things that are illegal. Yeah, we knew. We know they're all on that, steroids and all that, you know. Wonder who you paid off in Congress, Vince. We got heroes who have done things that would put most people behind prison bars. We have legends who we now find out hold a certain view, it's their perspective on reality that bothers me. Maybe it's too many concussions. Who knows? Wonder if they'll ever settle that lawsuit or actually pay these boys who suffered during their careers. This is it. This isn't a prediction. This is let's steal Paul Heyman's line. This is not going to be a prediction. This is going to be a shoot. And here it is. It's a spoiler. WWE's days are done. This story involves corporate cover-up. Corporate cover-up. It involves paying off a victim for their silence. And I imagine, now I don't know if this was one of those deals where they come in and they say, look, you're going to do this. We're going to give you this much money. You're not going to go to the law. We'll take care of this. Go ahead and take all this money. Well, let's settle out of court because they filed claim in court. So there is truth to the allegation. Because you don't pay someone off if it ain't the truth. Look what they did to Enzo Amore for what happened. He lost his deal. He lost his contract. Shockey says, until recently, WWE were making jokes about Flair walking around naked in his robe. That shows story time. I think it was where cartoons and it all was funny. Ha ha. That's been removed from Peacock now, shortly after this Dark Side of DSOR order. So, yeah, damn. Wow, man. We forget about stuff. We forget about stuff. But our heroes do things that break our hearts. Superman isn't always as good as you think he is. There's always somebody better. You know, if you really look at Thor and Loki, they're both dicks. So, you know, why have heroes? You know what heroes really are? I'm going to be honest with you, folks. We talk about it being the paramedics and the nurses, and it's that, but it's a lot more. It's the people out there in the factories that are making stuff. It's the men and women out in their fields growing things. It's everybody. It's every one of us. Yeah, I am looking forward to the Canyon episode, Chalky. Yes, I am. Yep, and that right there, if it's what I think it is, then that's basically discrimination based on sexual orientation. This company's in some deep trouble. And I mean, there are going to be people like me who are not going to, I am not watching another goddamn WWE show, period. I'm done. I am boycotting the No. I'm not boycotting. I'm quitting. I'm canceling my subscription to Peacock. I don't want anything to do with this company. I hope Peacock does the same once these revelations come out and does away with the WWE network. How are you going to pay the money back, Vince? You put yourself out of business. You put a one-time $1 billion corporation out of business, dude. So you're the greatest wrestling promoter to have ever lived. You're also probably the sleaziest that ever lived. How dare you, dude? All the crap you've done in your life, you will pay for in your afterlife. This is one of the most reprehensible things I have heard of in my life. This company has done more. This is disgusting, and the blame can be laid at the feet of the owner of the company. The big boy on the board. Vince, you need to resign. Folks, I bet you McMahon will now be leaving as chairman of WWE. And I promise you, before he does, he'll divest himself of stock in the company. What a piece of trash you people are. You force people with morals to do immoral things and and just overlook immoral things. Sports Jet, if you're still out there, you owe something to these people that were violated that night. Shut up. That's what you told them. Shut up. They don't have to shut up. The Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, freedom of speech, cannot abridge that. The hell do you think you are? This is one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard of. I know it happens, but to be something like this for one of my heroes, and you condone it because he's a hero instead of telling us the truth, you're breaking our hearts. We deserve better. We gave you decades of our lives, thousands of hours of our time. Monday night, Friday night, Saturday night, whatever night you're on the air, we're watching. You've screwed up NXT, so nobody's going to give a damn about that product. Raw sucks. You made Big E your last champion on the brand because I guarantee you something's going to happen about all this shit. All these multi-billion-dollar deals they got going on. Something's going to happen. Spoiler. Man, I don't know what y'all think. You're right. You are damn right, Shocky. And you know what? I'll bet you that's why Shane walked away from these people, because he had morals. You might not think about Shane Douglas having morals because of some of the stuff he's done in the ring, but I ain't heard too much BS about him outside the ring. I believe that WWE has talent that has morals that would not do things like this. But I think some of these men and women are going to be shocked about this type of revelation about this company. It's a good thing men like Daniel Bryan walked away. I wonder if this is going to change his opinion about a guy like Vince McMahon now that he knows the truth, because he wasn't there. What do you think out there, Shocky? Do you think WWE has finally begun driving nails in the coffin, and that they're probably on their way to a very public collapse? Because this is what I see in the future of this company. Because if this type of stuff keeps coming out, and stories and truths keep coming out that have been hidden for all this time, well, your stock's going to drop, baby. It's going to fall. It's going to crash harder than 1929 or something, when the stock market slammed to the ground. The hell are you thinking, people? You know, there's a lot of old sayings. I've heard this stupid thing by this YouTube guy called Darman, and they always keep saying, what you do in the dark will always come to light. I guess it's an old saying. I'm not promoting Darman because it's the most stupidest BS crap out there. It's offensive. It's illogical. It's just a formula, and I'm sick of hearing, but you know, because they don't know shit. Irrational relativity of a situation that will never occur in the real world. You know what happens in the real world, people? We get punished for doing things like this. Oh my God. Oh, I got a headache now because this bothers me. Folks, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night here. As you see, no longer on there, no longer will ever be up there. I'm going to be working on a studio. And of course, always, I hate Nick Anthony. Remember that? Oh, by the way, look at the sign. I'll be back here on Wednesday night with another episode of After Dark. Look for me about 12 a.m. on the East Coast. So about 9 p.m. out there Pacific. You also at the PW247 on Twitter and on Facebook. Go to our group, Pro Wrestling 24/7. Look it up. Shocky's in there. A lot of cool stuff in there. So one more comment from Shocky tonight before we go. He says, I honestly don't know. Things have been bad for a while, but with all the revelations lately, things aren't looking good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. And on that, we'll let Shocky have the last word there. And we're going to call it an evening, folks. I will be back here Wednesday night. Look forward to Nick Anthony in the mornings with, what's that thing? Oh, High Impact. He's got some things in the works, and we're going to be working on a few things to try and get them together. Just remember, folks, this is After Dark with HB3, and that's my opinion, and it's the only one that matters.